Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome back. I hope you got a chance to see some of our previous videos, and I want to basically let everyone know that we're covering the Constitution and how it works and the three branches, and today we're going to talk a little bit about sovereignty and how its effects that we has on the Constitution and the effects the Constitution has on sovereignty. So when we talk about specific words, we want to define them. So we go to the Black's Law Dictionary and start reading, and there's usually 2 or 3 definitions, but this definition of sovereignty that I want to pull out is right here in about the 3rd or 4th line. Sovereignty is the supreme, absolute, and uncontrollable power by which any independent state is governed. Okay, it's supreme political authority. So sovereignty, and now we're relating that to the political. The supreme will. Now here it is: paramount control of the Constitution and frame of government and its administration. Okay, so that's a lot, but that's what we're breaking down. And we got paramount control of the Constitution. That's what we want to know. Right there, sovereignty is something that lawyers do not know, do not learn, and do not have. That's what separates us from lawyers. We're practicing sovereignty. It's paramount control of the Constitution and the frame of government. And this is what we talked about last time, the frame of government. The frame of our government is the Constitution and the 3 separate powers. The 3 separate powers are divided, separate and equal, and they have to be balanced, so we have to have control. And by controlling the government, exercising the powers, we're really exercising our sovereignty. That's how we use political power. It's sovereignty. So this knowledge of how the Constitution breaks down is what leads us into sovereignty. And the way that we do that as individuals of the country is through what we call judicial power. And judicial power is that 3rd branch of government. And so to review, the 3rd branch of government is made up of 1 Chief Justice and the Associate Justices. And if that Chief Justice fails to act, then the Associate Justices are going to act for him and on behalf of him. This is the way the system's set up. It's going to proceed in a specific manner, and each individual has the power to control the direction in which it's going to proceed. Okay, so the reason why we want to exercise the power is so that we can control our destiny, and if we don't do it, it'll be controlled by the other 2 powers. The unique thing about the judicial power of the United States is that it is vested in the 1 Supreme Court. And the 1 Supreme Court has jurisdiction over all cases, law and equity. So when we exercise our power, we have to understand how that court works and how to move the court. This is why we learn legalese. This is why we learn the words, and we have to know procedurally how the court operates. And that's why we learn a little bit about how lawyers, what they learn in school, but the lawyers learn more drama and how to do deals and how to avoid the law and the equity. They actually, when they make a deal, that's in the equity, because the equity is everything that's not the law. And the Constitution, again, is the supreme law of the land, as opposed to the law of the sea or the admiralty or the commercial law. Because commercial law is basically all around the world. The the law of the water, the admiralty and the maritime, and then you come to the law of the land. And the law of the land in this country is the Constitution. In fact, it's the supreme law of the land. And if you don't understand that, if you don't feel that inside, then you're not going to be able to exercise your sovereignty. Because the agents on the land, the cops and the lawyers and the judges, they're agents of the executive power, they want to exercise their power all the time. So they're going to do it by presumption. They're automatically going to presume that their law overrides our law. Because their law comes from the Constitution too. But outside of the Constitution, they have a whole nother set of laws that are operated by what we call agency. So the agency is a form of law that's derived from the trust law. It's kind of the opposite of trust. So when we learn about trusts, which we will in a few more sessions later on, then we'll also compare that to the law of agency. And there's a few things that we have to understand about agency in how it affects us when we are approached by an agent. Because it's not a one-on-one thing when a government agent comes to your door, or to your window of your car. He's actually involved in a court. So we have to understand again what a court is. And I think I'll talk about that next time. But the law of agency applies as soon as you talk to an agent, because there's actually 3 parties involved, even though 2 of them are standing right there. And regardless of where the interaction takes place, you're also in the opposite court of the agency, which is called the trust. And that trust is that we're going to go by the laws of the place that we're at. And when you're stopped by a cop on the street, then you're in America, and the law of the land is the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. So the first thing to decide is what laws are we going to go by. And you're going to say the law of the land and the Constitution, and the cop and the lawyer and the judge are going to say, no, we don't do it that way anymore. And there's the first showdown. And when you win that showdown, you'll walk away and you win. And that's the key. And you can win that showdown right off the bat. And it's very easy, except for the fear. It's kind of like going to pick up on women and talk to women. It's nervous, it's unsure. If you don't understand what to say or how to act, then it's very disturbing. Same when you go to court or you interact with a cop. As soon as you're there, you switch into your mode, you go with the Constitution, and you remind the other side that that's what they're going by too. Because they really are going by the Constitution indirectly. They're waiting for you to give them the command that they're going by the Constitution. The judicial power as opposed to the executive power. And you can manipulate them because the cop takes an oath to go by the codes and the statutes and the ordinances, and an oath to go by the Constitution. And it's your choice. So if you remind them, then they will. And if they don't, then you will have a remedy at the next level. So basically, the sovereignty is the paramount control of the Constitution. We have to learn the Constitution. We're going to learn how it works. That's what we're learning. The fundamentals are it's 3 parts, and we play the part of the judicial power. And what we say to the agents is the most important thing. So I just wanted to run that down. And next time, or a few more times down the road, we'll get into maybe exactly what to say, a few discussions with cops on the road. We're going to find out how this law of agency works and compare that with the trusts. and get a feel for interrelating with government agents, because we're exercising a power of government that's necessary to balance the powers, and if we don't do it, then it's going to be out of balance, and when it's out of balance, then the individual suffers. So stay tuned, and we'll pick that definition of court up next time and learn more how to exercise our own sovereignty. So thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you later.